Hello and good morning. This is Hyden in the Philippines. I've been here officially for 2 months now, and I want to give you the benefit of my accumulated knowledge. It is vast. Okay, maybe not vast, but it's been accumulated. This is my passport. It got me into the country. It'll get me out of the country. Now, I want to tell you about another passport that's available to you here in the Philippines, and you brought it with you. And I'm going to show it to you now. Hi, how are you? Yes, a simple wave and a smile. Just throw it up there. Hey, how are you? It's a mode of positive energy that you're putting out there for everyone to witness and see and participate in. Every time you do that, maybe not every time, but almost every time, you're going to get a positive response. And you should do it as often as possible. If somebody makes eye contact with you, throw that hand up there and just say, hey, man, how are you? And I guarantee you, you're going to get a positive response. Now, one of the other things you should learn while you're here in the Philippines is just a few words of the local language. I'm going to share with you 5 words that you can use in your everyday life that will promote positive energy and make you a better person here. First one is Main Buntag. That means good morning. You say it at home, say it here. Main Apple. That's good afternoon. You say it at home, say it here. Main Gabi. That's good evening. Once again, you say it at home. It's a cordial way of being kind to people that you don't know, and it promotes positive energy. Now, I'm going to teach you one of the most important words, and you need to just put this in your holster, even if you don't want to learn the other 3 words I just taught you. Salamat. It means thank you, and you should be thankful on a regular basis. If somebody shows you a kindness or offers you directions, opens a door for you, say thank you. Salamat. Now, let me tell you what, when you do that, people's eyes are going to light up a little bit, and you're going to see them smile just a little because you've taken effort to learn their language. And it shows that you're not a dick. Now, the last thing I'm going to teach you, and you can use it if you want, it's called ping. That's ping. It means take care. If you've been in somebody's company or you care about them just even for the slightest little bit, you use that word. You know, if you're at a dinner at a Filipino's house, or some Filipino has showed you a kindness by giving you directions or helped you out in any manner or circumstance, you look them directly in the eye, say salamat, and then you say ping. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, that's going to get around, and people are going to be excited that you learned a bit of their language, because most foreigners come here, they don't want to learn anything. You think, or maybe not you personally, but most people will think that the Filipinos need to adapt to you. Yes, they speak some English, but I mean, they went out of their way to learn that English. You can learn 5 words, you can, and you should. Now, let me give you a few other tidbits. Your name here is Joe. That's right, Joe. If you're a male here and nobody knows your name, they're gonna yell, "Hey, Joe!" That's not an insult, man. It just means they don't know your name, and they want you to acknowledge that they're saying hello. So anytime it happens to me, I throw my hand right up and I'm like, "Hey, man, how's it going?" That brings the biggest smile on people's faces because you acknowledge their acknowledgement of you. It's just going to spread positive energy, and that's really what you want. You've come from a negative place, and you're trying to fill yourself up with positivity. By all means, you need to project that to get it back. Now, there's another thing they call us here. It's called Bobo Americano. And quite frankly, it's not the most positive thing, but you can turn that and spin it. Bobo Americano means stupid American. We do some stupid things while we're here. We don't know we're being stupid until it's brought to our attention and the ignorance is displayed for the whole community to see. Now, when I do something stupid, and I have, unintentionally, and I'm not trying to hurt nobody, I turn it around on myself. When I do something stupid and people are looking at me, I'm just like, I'm sorry, Bobo Americano. And almost every time they're just going to smile and laugh at you because you've just broken the tension in an otherwise tense situation. So that's another thing you could, if you hear it, it's not positive, but it's pointing out some ignorant thing that you've done. Now, lastly but not least, is curry pot. If somebody calls you a curry pot, that means you're a cheap SOB. I mean, if you're haggling over 5 pesos, really 5 pesos? That's a penny. Okay? I mean, are you really going to pinch a penny over here? Because everything over here doesn't cost as much as it does back home. So if you hear somebody refer to you as a curry pot, that is 100% negative, and that you need to, be aware of that fact. Now you're being prepared. Uh, you're being displayed as a negative entity, and you don't want that. Be a little generous. If you're out to eat, 10% is a good tip. You don't need to go over that, but 10% is a good tip. If you give somebody 50 pesos, that's $1, man. You've just given $1. So don't think it's like 50 bucks. It's 50 pesos. You've just tipped $1. And most people are going to be happy with that. 10% is more than enough. You do not want to be a curry pot. Okay, moving on. One of the things I've seen here is you don't want to be a Karen. Under any circumstance, do you want a Karen out here? Or Ken, whatever it is, or just plain outright be a dick. Because what's going to happen is if you raise your voice here, the minute you do, the second your voice gets above a certain octave level, all the Filipinos' heads are going to turn. And those smiling faces that you were seeing previously are no longer smiling. And they've got an intense look on their face. And what's going on is you have forgotten something. You're a guest in this country. You understand that? You're a guest here. So you need to act like a guest and be polite. So, that being said, do not raise your voice here. If you raise your voice here, that's considered an act of aggression, and it will be dealt with one way or another. And if you keep escalating it, some things can happen to you. You can go on YouTube and type in or foreigners being aggressive, and you're going to see that it doesn't work out for them at all. Some people have been unalived over it. You've raised your voice to the wrong person, and they'll just unalive you. It happens. Don't think it won't happen to you. It might not. You could catch a beating. You could raise your voice to somebody, and even if nobody knows the guy that you're yelling at, they know that you're not Filipino, and you shouldn't be yelling at a Filipino, because they will all turn on you, and they will come to rescue of their brother, cousin, or just their fellow compatriot. Just thinking of it like this. If you're in my house and you raise your voice in my house, you're not allowed to do that. I mean, I don't know where you're from, but you're not allowed to raise your voice in my house. It's my house. If you're going to do that, I'm going to ask you to leave. And if you don't want to leave on your own accord, you'll be escorted out in an aggressive type manner. So you need to keep that in mind when you're over here. You are a guest. Don't be a dick. Don't raise your voice. Don't try to exert control over here, because after that beating you get passed out, when the cops do show up, you know what's going to happen to the Filipinos? Not a thing, man. Not a thing. The cops going to actually tell you, hey, man, you brought that on yourself, and you honestly did. Okay, let's move on to the next subject here. I've seen men here with all manner of females. The age gap really doesn't matter. If you're a 70-year-old, 80-year-old, and you want to be with an 18 to 25-year-old, you can. You definitely can. But the question is that going to make you happy? Did you come here for sex or companionship? Once again, that's a decision you make. Now, if you came here to search a companion, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're in your 60s and you're with a 25-year-old or younger, it's probably not going to work out. I mean, after sex, and I don't know how good you're at it, how long it takes you to do it, but there's quite a few hours in the day. And after you're done having sex, you still got to interact with this person for the rest of the day. Now, if you notice anything, and even back home, the same as here, most 18 to 25-year-olds got their phone in their hand, and they're looking at TikToks, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. If they're not doing that, they want you to take them out to eat. or they're going to want you to go buy them something because they're bored. They want to do something. And at your age, do you want to go out night clubbing? Do you really? Is that your plan? Because, you know, you aren't going to be able to sustain that. You're not that person anymore. It's not going to last. And you will run yourself into the ground trying to maintain that type of atmosphere. It's just not going to work for you. Now, I have seen these fellas out and about with these young girls. They're holding hands now. I have a younger girlfriend, and I'm tickled to death about it. I'm proud as a peacock. We go out, I got my hand in her hand, and all you can see is a big grin on my face because I realize how lucky a dog I am. Now, I've seen countless other foreigners that will be with a beautiful young woman, and they're walking hand in hand, and they've got a scowl on their face. They do not look happy at all because they've soon come to realize after being here, they're in a transactional relationship. Uh, that's not your, it's not a companion. You're just having sex with this woman. Okay, and now they realize, you know, every time we get done having sex, I got to go buy her something. Okay, that's called a transactional relationship. If that's what you want to be in and your pockets are deep, have fun, man. Have fun. But if you come over here to seek a companion, you probably should get somebody more age related. I'm saying in their 30s, you know, so they've been out in the world a little bit and they can appreciate you a little more than a 20 something. Because a 20 something thinks they still got the rest of their whole lives and, you know, all this magic stuff they preach and pour into them via the internet. Well, the reality is, you know, you're going to be with somebody. You got to have things to talk about other than sex. You know, what are your dreams? What are your hopes? What are your hobbies? You know, do you want to do the same things that I want to do? That's up to you. That's just what I've seen here. I've seen the most miserable men with the most beautiful women. Okay, now speaking of the women here, your best bet is if you do have a woman here, is not to go shopping on your